Hello, Gemini. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. All right, Gemini, this has to be the first time in a long time that I've looked at the past to prison as not being a persistent thing, but you actually, getting over this now. It's almost like seeing it in the reverse, but not in a curse type of way. So from Lay Vampire, the past to prison, bitterness, grudge, and refusal to let go. And then from Chakra Wisdom, self-worth. Definitely this could be saying here that you need to find your self-worth and start loving yourself and not feeling like you need to prove yourself to anybody anymore with the past to prison. But I think it's really about you getting past this now. You're not holding on to any more bitterness, no more grudges, none of that. Anything that may have been holding you a prisoner is now gone with self-worth showing up. The card at a glance says that this card indicates a love of life and no longer trying to prove your value to others who may not see what you see. Rely on your inner knowing. So, again, it's like looking at it in the reverse, but no curse. No curse here. All right, Gemini. Here is your overall for the week. The Queen of Cups. Now, and like I've said before, when it comes to court cards, the personality and the energy you may be taking on is what's more important here. So for some of you, definitely, you could be dealing with a water sign. But like I've always said, when it comes to the Queen of Cups, this could be about you being emotionally involved or emotionally attached to someone or something, and it could be about you being a little bit more in tune with your own emotions here. But it may be because of a person that may be around you. But we'll see how this Queen of Cups is playing out. Oh boy. So some of you may be feeling a little bit emotional about the past. In the past, you have the past with the Six of Cups. Nostalgia, looking back at happy memories, somebody from the past possibly coming back through. But I don't feel anything bad around it. Like, I feel like it's okay. But whatever is coming through from the past, for you, it may be bringing up some emotions. Oh yeah. I say that and then you pull the Five of Cups. So with the Five of Cups being in the present, and again, I go back to the past to prison, right? It may really be about you getting back to a place where, you feel a little bit better about how you feel about a past situation or a person here. With the Five of Cups, disappointment. But the message has always been is that you still have those two cups to build on. So are you getting past this now? Are we releasing the past and getting to a place where you're no longer focused on what's been lost, especially if it's coming back through? But yeah, whatever it is that's coming up for you guys, there's a lot of emotions involved with it, which is not normal for Gemini. I mean, if you have water in your chart, absolutely. But, I still look at the Queen of Cups as being emotionally involved, but it's also being in tune with your own emotions. She doesn't take that distance. But again, I go back to the past of prison and self-worth and self-love and no longer allowing these, difficult emotions to hold you a prisoner. Future conditions, the Two of Pentacles. So, you kind of move into a place here where I think that you're still trying to figure it out. Whatever it is from the past coming back through, there may be a lot of difficult emotions surrounding it, but I don't think that it's something that you're letting go of. And one of the things that I point out with this card for this deck is the calm waters in the background. Like, I don't feel like if you have somebody from the past coming through, I don't feel like they're trying to cause problems. It may be that they're trying to come through to fix what may have happened in the past because of looking at the Five of Cups. But with the Two of Pentacles, you're still in that kind of like, what do I do with this kind of feeling? But like I said, with the Queen of Cups being the overall, there's definitely emotional attachment to what's going on. Your best path to follow, the Seven of Pentacles. Every time I see this in this position, I think that you need to look at the way that you're feeling differently. With the Seven of Pentacles, like I've said before, I don't see this as waiting. You're taking stock of, what you have to show for all the hard work and effort that you've put into something. Now, this is about continued growth. You can either continue to do things the same way you have been and see the same results over and over again, or there's a different way to go. There are different actions that you can take to continue the growth, but needing to reevaluate what, you are looking at in terms of what has happened with the past, what you have to show for what you put in emotionally toward the past, but looking at it differently, but in a way that we're looking at, better growth, seeing what you actually want out of this situation. But right now, I don't think that you know how to handle it. But like, I don't see you in emotional upheaval though, because again, I'm looking at calm waters behind this person. And definitely something coming through here with the ship. But again, like, I mean, even with the dolphin showing up, it's like, I don't think that somebody's intentionally trying to make you hurt. In your environment, the Ten of Pentacles. So, this could be about a family situation. But security and stability here. But what I don't like about this is if we're looking at the Five of Cups, for some of you, these difficult emotions have become like a place of security for you. But again, we're looking at the end of the cycle here, and definitely a new beginning that may be coming through. But, are you really in a place right now to be open to that? But that I think bothers me more so about this. But yeah, we could be talking about family here. This and the Ten of Cups tends to show like family issues. But, again, we're looking at stability and security and looking at things differently to kind of continue that, But I do think that a lot of this is going to have to do with somebody coming back through that may be bringing up some difficult emotions for you. Yep, I'm telling you. The Two of Cups, hopes and fears, getting back to a place where you feel connected with somebody. Again, the relationship, right? But it's not about separating, it's about coming together. Now, for some of you, you may not be seeing eye to eye with a person, or they may be coming back through here wanting to try again as far as like making a connection with you. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it's a relationship between two people who see eye to eye, who share their emotions, share their thoughts. I'm telling you, to me, this feels like the past is being brought back up in a very difficult way, but you're getting, again, to this place of self-worth where you understand what your worth is. But what do you do with this, though? And that may be why, like, Spirit's saying you need to look at it differently and reevaluate how we can continue growth and stability. But I don't like this, because like I said, to me, it looks like a level of stability has been, put in place for you when it comes to what you've been, dealing with emotionally, where you've been disappointed. But again, the two cups, they're still there, but what do you do with it? And then I'm telling you, I swear to God, you guys, oh my goodness, everybody, it seems like everybody is in this position right now where they don't know what decision to make. And again, right, you clearly see what the truth of the situation is, but it's hard to make that choice, because there may be a lot of emotions, and I mean a lot of emotions involved with this, especially if you're dealing with somebody coming back through from the past who may be, wanting to correct things, but they left you in a really bad spot looking at the Five of Cups. And then the Seven of Cups. I'm telling you, man, the emotions surrounding this. Okay, so with the Lovers, and here you are, right? Relationship. For some of you, this is coming in quickly. And, the other thing, though, too, is the reason why I feel like we're looking at the Two of Swords. If we're looking at this in the present, you may feel like you need to make a choice, and you don't. Don't feel like you're forced to make a quick decision. But communication comes up with this. And for some of you, you may be communicating these difficult emotions. But with the Seven of Cups, I don't so much feel like it's about different options. I think it's really about the different ways that you could handle this situation. You know, there are different possibilities on how this can play out. And that may be what you're kind of going through in your mind right now, especially considering the emotions that are surrounding this. You know, but again, we're not really making anything happen right now. You know, but emotionally, you may not be in a good spot to make a choice, which is fine. And you shouldn't feel like you're forced to do this here. But I think that you're fantasizing about what could be, but then not actually, you know, making the choice to make anything happen. But I don't see it really as a bad thing because of this being connected to what is going on, you know. But again, you have found your self-worth. And I think that that is something that needs to be communicated more than anything, especially if somebody is looking to make a connection with you where they may have left you in a really shitty position. But yet you're still being asked to kind of reevaluate the way that you feel about this. You know, and again, the whole point here is to continue growth, you know. Yeah, if we're talking about needing to let go of control issues with the King of Pentacles, you may be being a little bit too pushy. I mean, you could definitely be dealing with an earth sign looking at the King of Pentacles. But like, I always look at him and think, you know, he's a good guy, but man, he can be a little bit too overbearing, you know. And this may definitely be talking about, you know, you needing to just kind of like let go, you know, and not worry so much about needing to control a situation as far as the relationship goes. But I don't see him as a bad guy, you know. Now, for those of you who are single, though, looking at the Two of Wands, right, give it a chance. And the only way that, you know, a relationship can have a chance if you take the time to actually get to know somebody. Now, they may be needing to get to know you. And that is what needs to be worked on here. But I'm looking at two people who are like really understanding each other. It almost has like a Two of Cups type of feel, but there's like a little bit of flirting going on, right? But it's not bad, but you're being asked to give it a chance. But, you know, like, I can understand, especially for some of you that have something from the past coming back up that has left you in a really difficult spot. You know, and I can't deny the fact that we're looking at the Two of Cups and the Lovers, but, you know, with the Lovers, besides that, right, like making those major choices. And definitely being in a spot where you're not really ready to do that just yet, you know. And maybe the Seven of Cups coming out is not a bad thing. But be careful about, you know, where the emotional fantasy leads you on what you think may happen in the situation. Because again, you're being asked to reevaluate the way that you feel about this. All right, Gemini, so I do think that you do have a person from the past coming back through. But with the Queen of Cups being the overall, I think the only reason why this is becoming a difficult choice for you is because there are a lot of emotions involved. And like I said, I don't like this because to me, it's a level of stability with difficult emotions. You may have been with this for a really long time, but I don't think that this person is like intentionally trying to make things difficult, but it's really putting you in a position where it's like, what do I do with this? Because you do come out with the Two of Swords here and you don't really make a choice, or you can't right now. And I understand that, especially with the emotions that are surrounding this, if somebody is looking to make a connection with you, but then, you know, you're also hoping to get to a spot here where you're seeing eye to eye with a person too. But like, I still see you needing to reevaluate the way that you feel about this, because I still think that there is a potential for growth, even if it just leads to a spot where, you know, you understand each other better, you know. But I don't know. I think that if you are dealing with a person from the past, they may be kind of like pushing an issue as far as a relationship with the Lovers coming through, which you guys, your card is so beautiful. But with the Eight of Wands, like, definitely don't allow yourself to feel like you're forced to make a quick choice, because you don't have to. But with the Seven of Cups, just be careful about your fantasies around what could possibly happen. I don't think that this is about several different choices. I mean, yeah, anybody could have different choices on what they could do, but I think this is like, you know, different outcomes on this situation, because you're still trying to figure it out, especially with the difficult emotions that are there and that level of stability. And like I said, for some of you, this could be about family situations. Now, As far as the past of prison and self-worth, the past is no longer holding you a prisoner. It's about you finding that self-worth, that self-love, and not needing to prove yourself to anybody anymore, and not carrying that bitterness, and getting past that and letting it go. But now, as far as relationships go, for singles, I like this. Give your relationship a chance, but the only way that that's going to happen is somebody actually takes the time to get to know you, or you them. But these are two people who are really absorbed in each other, and it kind of has the Two of Cups type of feeling to it, but there is flirting going on though too. But you're being asked to give it a chance. Now, for those of you who are in a relationship, let go of control issues, and then you have the controlling man with the King of Pentacles. Now, we could definitely be talking about you here, and it doesn't matter if you're male or female, right? You could be dealing with an earth sign, but the King of Pentacles tends to be a little bit pushy. Right? So it's just saying that you don't need to control this. Just let it happen. And that may be for your partner though too, especially if they're really pushy and trying to control everything. But I don't, for this one, with the Two of Swords coming out, I don't feel like you need to make a choice. You're fine right where you're at. Because between the two of these, you're going to have to figure it out before you can actually make a choice, and nobody can force you to do that. But you can't really ignore it though either, especially with the difficult emotions, right? Because again, you're still hoping to get to a place here where there is a better connection. But like I said, you have to be careful about your fantasies about what could be. If you're not willing to do something, then, all you're going to be doing is fantasizing about what could possibly happen. But like I said, if you don't feel like you're ready to make a choice here, especially with a major relationship in the past possibly coming back through, don't feel like you need to do this right now, because you need to figure out those emotions first. And again, being more in tune with your own emotions surrounding this coming back through.